Golden Knights alongside Louis DeBrusk. I'm your man, Jack Michaels, and the Oilers starting Mikko Koskinen. All he's done this year as the supposed backup for Edmonton is go 10-2, and he's gotten the run support as well. The Oilers average nearly 4.5 goals per game when Koskinen is in the pipes. He'll be opposed by Robin Leonard. Now, this was the matchup back in October, and Koskinen outplayed Leonard, who's 15-4-2 lifetime in this building. One of those 4 losses to Edmonton. He's been hot lately with 8 wins in his last 11. Connor McDavid to lead it off for the Edmonton Oilers. He'll be flanked by Zach Kassian and Zach Hyman. Meanwhile, for Vegas, it's Chandler Stevenson with 2 guys who weren't in Vegas's lineup back in October, Louis. Mark Stone and Max Pacioretty.
Yeah, and it rounds out that top line with William Karlsson still out of the lineup. For Chandler Stevenson, a terrific season this year. He'll go head-to-head with the top line of Edmonton.
Broberg and Ceci defensively for the Oilers. Theodore and McNabb for the Golden Knights, and we are underway as Edmonton bangs it in. These 2 teams have played 12 times in their history, and each has won 6. Not much to separate 2 top contenders in the Pacific. McDavid turns it over, quick shot denied by Koskinen right out of the gates. He comes up with a save 20 seconds in, and the puck extracted by Hyman, who then nearly ran over Shea Theodore. Fields a lead pass, and has Kassian breaking for the net, but he just missed it. McDavid will pull it free, kick it back to Tyson Barrie. His shot doesn't get through, blocked by Braden McNabb. Edmonton a perfect 6-0 this year against divisional opposition. Stone to Pacioretty, and his shot blocked, and that might have stung Tyson Barrie.
Yeah, caught him in the inside of the leg, and looks like he's no worse for wear as he skates that one out, but a good block by Barrie. That's a dangerous shot from the slot.
Golden Knights walk in with Riley Smith. He's been great lately, 6 in his last 8 games. Tried to center, steered out by Koskinen, and cleared by Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. Smith could not handle an outlet pass. Draisaitl, the league's leading scorer, off to Kailer Yamamoto. He's hit hard along the boards, maintains. Draisaitl a shot that was blocked by Waugh, and here come the Golden Knights. On the move is Jonathan Marchessault, back in uniform. A shot, and that was blocked. Golden Knights riddled with injuries and COVID symptoms that have sidelined 5 different players. Here's an icing call coming against Edmonton.
And the one thing you can be guaranteed of in this building, Jack, is this team is going to come out fired up and attack very aggressively. A great save early on from Mikko Koskinen on a turnover in the defensive zone. This is the pressure once again. Stevenson with that aggressive attack, and Stone, who has terrific hands. Little pickpocket on McDavid right out to Pacioretty. And I mean, he gets that one away in a hurry. Koskinen's already down to take that angle away and fends that one off. But that is the pressure. A great save early on from Mikko Koskinen on a turnover in the defensive zone. This is the pressure once again. Stevenson with that aggressive attack, and Stone, who has terrific hands. Little pickpocket on McDavid right at Jack, as this team is going to come out fired up and attack very aggressively. A great save early on from Mikko Koskinen on a turnover in the defensive zone. This is the pressure once again. Stevenson with that aggressive attack, and Stone, who has terrific hands. Little pickpocket on McDavid right out to Pacioretty. And I mean, he gets that one away in a hurry. Koskinen's already down to take that angle away and fends that one off. But that is the pressure the Vegas Golden Knights will put on you early and throughout the game here.
Then Hutton takes a shot off the draw, and that was sifted wide. Clattered off the inboards and fielded cleanly by Kolesar, whose centering pass whiffed upon by Howden. Banged his stick on the ice, frustrated. He didn't make contact with the puck. Kolesar and Howden digging down low, toppling Evan Bouchard. He pops right back up, taking it hard to the hole, then dishing, shot Hutton, and that was redirected wide. Yamamoto looks to come up with the puck, and does for Edmonton, does a nice job of protecting, and will take it 1-on-3, maintain possession before flicking it down low for Edmonton's third line to go to work. Led by McLeod and Fogle, CC a hard pinch, forces Vegas back beneath its goal line. A chip up the wall does exit the zone, and that's smacked off the boards. They're going to wave off icing here. Referees Ian Walsh and Steve Kazari, linesmen Justin Johnson and Travis Golritz. Gaining the line is Pugliarvi. A shot kicked aside by goaltender Robin Leonard. Work down low, squeezing through traffic. Fogle had it taken away, and it's lifted down the ice by Pietrangelo. Nice job of angling Dodonov off by Chris Russell, and the Oilers spill it back to center. Here's Cece. Pugliarvi. Battling Haig is Derek Ryan back in the lineup for Edmonton. He's been banged up lately, missed a couple of games. Tyler Benson, Ryan, and Colton Sevier coming off their best game of the year as Edmonton beat Arizona 5-3 on Wednesday. The same night, Vegas beat Nashville 5-2. Steele Sevier, shot saved Leonard. Sevier still looking for his first goal of the year. Leonard, a good stop. Mark Stone, who just scored his first goal, an empty netter against the Predators, works it down low, takes it to the net, and had it roll off his stick. Stevenson, one-timer coming and a save on Theodore, and then chopped just off the side of the net by Stone. Decent pressure here from Vegas' top line. Stone tried to jam it in front, tipped away by Barry and cleared without a problem by Sevier. Drilled up the gut for Chandler Stevenson, who leads Vegas in scoring, although his 19 points are one less than Draisaitl has goals. Tyson Barrie operating off a feed from McDavid. He'll look to give it right back to him, and why not? A dart to Cassian. Breaks in with a drop pass. Zach Hyman. Cassian in front. Hyman couldn't get it to him. Zach Cassian coming off his first three-point game in 2 years in that aforementioned win over Arizona. Broberg works it up the left-hand side, tracked by Whitecloud. Backhands it over to Pietrangelo. Whacked up the boards. Smith couldn't get it out, and Leonard will pull it into his chest.
JackpotCity.net. Casino games perfectly made for you.
Not a lot of time spent in the offensive zone for the Edmonton Oilers. The Vegas Golden Knights have done a nice job to shut things down, but this is a chance created off of Sevier. Nice little steal in the neutral zone down the right-hand side and tests Leonard, high on that glove hand side.
Hacked out by Vegas off the draw, blasted back in by Evan Bouchard. A lot of youth in Edmonton's lineup on the back end with Bouchard, Broberg, and William Lagesson. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. Lagesson to Draisaitl, sharp angle one-timer, nearly tipped in by Yamamoto. Nugent-Hopkins, Yamamoto, extracted to Draisaitl, but a centering pass is picked off. And here comes McJesus. Laser toward the Edmonton net, and Koskinen will freeze it.
That was a sneaky play by McJesus right there. Just pretend like he was going to chip it into the zone and fire it right onto Mikko Koskinen. Watch where Leon Draisaitl shoots this puck from. And when you have a team that's really collapsing, taking the middle away, he's way outside. And that one goes off a stick, goes right through the blue paint, and almost goes off a skate in front as Yamamoto was right there. And Leonard had no idea where that puck had gone, but that's what Leon Draisaitl can do. He'll flare out, has that great one-timer he scored so many goals on from that position. That was dangerous.
I was just going to say, Louis, for our Hockey Night in Canada audience, that's a high percentage look, believe it or not. Here's Pugliarvi. If you don't see the Oilers regional telecast, trust me, that is not a low percentage play. Played up the right-hand side, Kolasar. Button hooking, and then dishing off to Hutton for a drive. A save, Koskinen, rebound loose, and again Howden in the vicinity, but he can't finish. And Pugliarvi will bring it the other way with Warren Foegele. Two guys sorely in need of a goal. Whipped around the boards. Ryan McLeod tried to hold it in. He's the one guy that's been scoring lately, and Foegele seemed a bit agitated at the tail end of that play.
Yeah, big hit in the corner there, a little frustration there. Pugliarvi had a chance to hold on to that puck in the offensive zone, and right now for Edmonton, the more they can sustain that pressure, the better. Puck turns over out of the zone, and that's what Vegas wants right now. They want to get right back on the attack. They've been good at it throughout this first period of driving up the ice offensively.
Adam Brooks, the one-time Toronto Maple Leaf, unable to hit his man, and it's driven back in by Cody Ceci. Leonard looked to direct. Up the right-hand side, Brooks turned it over to McDavid. Wrong guy to do that to, but to Brooks' credit, fought back into the play and advanced as far as the Edmonton line, and now it's Barrie. Nudging it toward the middle, taken away. Pacioretty Gains the line, will drop it off for Mark Stone. Centering pass, tipped away at the last moment by Hyman. And now it's a 3-on-2 for Edmonton. McDavid will lead, maybe a fourth man coming in. It's Cassian who breaks free, but his shot denied by Leonard. Then he dropped and froze with 13 minutes on the clock in a scoreless game between two of the Pacific Division's elite, the Oilers and the Golden Knights. Koskinen holding sway. Golden Knights. These are two of the teams expected to contend for the division title. Some early impressions.
You know what? Listen, we figured the Vegas Golden Knights were going to come out aggressively in this game, and they have. Look at the way they get up the ice in a hurry. There's been 2 or 3 really good shots from the point, looking for tips, looking for rebounds. Mikko Koskinen with a couple early saves, and that's exactly what Edmonton needed to kind of weather that storm that is so typical in this building with the way the Knights come out. And for Edmonton now, it's about them starting to put a little more time in the offensive zone and wear down the Vegas Golden Knights at their own game.
Vegas, a top 5 team at home, a top 5 team anywhere since their entry into the National Hockey League for the 17-18 campaign. Here's Shea Theodore jumping up in the play, only to be stripped by Tyson Barrie, and the Oilers take over. Golden Knights are able to maintain and hem Edmonton in for now. Pacioretty dishes back. Theodore's shot tipped, sails off the end boards, handled by McNabb. Centering pass by Stevenson, that glanced off the side of the goal, held in by Theodore for the moment. Barrie ran into traffic in the form of Pacioretty, steered by McDavid up to Cassian. Nice play off the half wall, and here comes McDavid. Defending is Theodore, and McDavid was unable to pry himself free from Theodore's grasp. It's cleared by Stevenson and ushered back inside the Edmonton line.
That was great backtracking right there by Riley Smith, and he allowed Shea Theodore to be very aggressive on Connor McDavid and pickpocketed him as it almost got by him. But McDavid blows through there. It's a 2-on-1 close to the net.
You can see the speed elevation with McDavid, but the play dies. And now hacked by Marchessault toward the Oiler net. Carefully guided by Koskinen to Cody Ceci in a high flip. Chases Vegas back. Oilers move in. Shot Yamamoto blocked. And here come the Golden Knights the other way on the counter. Jonathan Marchessault picking up steam, gaining the line, twisting it backhander toward the net. And then Koskinen stopped the rebound and held.
Waves of attack and a couple chances at each end, and here's that play I was talking about with Riley Smith, who's a great 200-foot player, and Ryan McGill has told me that the things he does that get unnoticed, but right here, just continuing to pressure McDavid, the one hand on the stick allows Theodore to be real strong on that line, pick that puck off, put it back up to Smith up the wall and out of harm's way. And this is a nice little spinorama by Marchessault right there to get that puck almost to Smith, and Mikko Koskinen jumps on that one wisely. Waves of pressure for the Vegas Golden Knights. It's not the first or second guy you have to worry about. It's the guy coming in behind. And for Edmonton tonight, they're going to have to make sure they're tracking back aggressively through the neutral zone.
The rookie Ryan McLeod on the draw for Edmonton at his own end, and he's been really picking up steam. The Oilers have now won 5 of 6 faceoffs in this game. Puck lifted out of play. Vegas claiming delay of game. I don't think anything doing.
Hit by Kolesar there on Lagesson too, and Dave Tippett directing some traffic here, saying off of them. Have a little conversation, but they're going to take a little look, and he's trying to argue for his players, saying, listen, he was getting run into as he played this puck. And Kolesar's stick did come in aggressively. He's going to give him a delay of game penalty here. It's going to be a power play to the Vegas Golden Knights as Peter. Take a little look, and he's trying to argue for his players, saying, listen, he was getting run into as he played this puck. And Kolesar's stick did come in aggressively. He's going to give him a delay of game penalty here. It's going to be a hit. Dave Tippett directing some traffic here, saying off of them. Have a little conversation, but they're going to take a little look, and he's trying to argue for his players, saying, listen, he was getting run into as he played this puck. And Kolesar's stick did come in aggressively. He's going to give him a delay of game penalty here. It's going to be a power play to the Vegas Golden Knights as Peter DeBoer looks on as well. They had a little discussion in front of the penalty boxes, and right here you'll see it as Lagesson gets this puck. He goes to chip it out, and boom, he takes a pretty hard hit. No question, he heard some footsteps. For Lagesson was trying to put that off the glass, up down that wall as the forward had exited the zone.
And of course, you're allowed to make contact, just not with the puck in terms of the merits of that delay of game.
And And it's so hard to tell with the dark background here as that puck goes up over the glass. But in their opinion, it went over directly. That's a delay of game penalty to Edmonton. And for Dave Tippett, he's still, obviously they saw something that we can't see from this angle, Jack. He really feels that didn't go directly out. But I've never seen them take it back, and it's going to be the first power play going to the Vegas Golden Knights. And it hasn't been a great power play this year. They've only scored a power play goal in 3 of their 20 games throughout the season. But as they get healthy and as they get their top players back into the lineup, most importantly, Pacioretty and Stone healthy and on this number 1 unit.
This power play brought to you by Stellara. Ask your doctor if Stellara is right for you. And Stevenson has it poked free by Derek Ryan. Golden Knights started 0 for 19 this year on the power play. Louis, to illustrate your point, they're currently on an 0 for 12 tailspin. Here's a dish inside to Donoff. Will give it weak side to Pacioretty. And he'll backhand it up to the point. Stepping in is Theodore. Tried to give it back to Pacioretty. Tipped by Ryan, but maintained. Sevier out there with Ryan up top, challenging Theodore. One-timer Pacioretty, that was partially blocked. And Chris Russell creeping on the all-time NHL shot block record. Might have gotten credit for one right there. Here's a quick one-timer to save. Rebound, Pacioretty denied by Koskinen's left pad. Here's Theodore. Now Stevenson. Setting up. Backing off. Stone, cross ice, and that clipped the side of the net. Crowd overreacted from a certain angle in the building. It looked like it was in. Stone, Pacioretty loads, fires, and that missed. Flattered off the plexi. Stevenson, Edmonton under heavy fire here, but thus far Vegas not on the board. Pacioretty loading up. Ryan and Russell on that side. Stevenson challenging, dishing, tip. Pacioretty doesn't pull the trigger and then throw one through the blue paint, untouched, to Stevenson. Bouchard and Sevier on this side. One-timer, and that one healed wide by Pacioretty. Backhand wraparound Stone. Save Koskinen. Still loose, and Stone comes up with it. Back to Pacioretty. 25 seconds on this power play. Shot wide. Picked up by Russell. Pulsating action on this power play. But Vegas thus far unable to break through. Pacioretty, Theodore, Stevenson, crowd in an uproar. Centering pass to Donoff. Couldn't pull the trigger. And then a steal by Derek Ryan. Short-handed. Open ice. Does he have enough juice? The trailer is Sevier. He'll load up. Shoot. Denied. Robin Leonard. And he keeps it a scoreless tie as the exhausted players retreat to their respective benches.
Yeah, break the oxygen out. A ton of pressure. The entire power play essentially spit.
It's a scoreless tie as the exhausted players retreat to their respective benches.
Yeah, break the oxygen out. A ton of pressure. The entire power play essentially spent in the offensive zone. Here's the 2-on-1 that develops late. Great stick twice by Derek Ryan in a penalty-killing situation to deny a puck. This time he carries it out of the zone. The only time it exits the zone the entire power play. And Sevier, who's out of gas, gets up there, gets to that spot, tries to fake and open up the 5-hole on Leonard. He gets a good shot away, but Leonard denies him. But what a power play for the Vegas Golden Knights. They were all over it. Max Pacioretty in the second game back after missing 17 games had a couple real good looks from in tight.
One of those blocked by Chris Russell, who's now the league's all-time shot block leader. Only been keeping track of the stats since 05-06. He breaks the record once held by Brent Seabrook. Moving in. Once again, the Golden Knights. Waugh couldn't get free. Now takes a one-timer to save. Rebound. What a stop. Mikko Koskinen at the top of his game to keep this a scoreless tie. Brilliant work by Mikko Koskinen. The initial chance, and then the denial on the rebound. We're scoreless in Vegas.
Defenseman at the end of the ice after that great penalty kill. And Chris Russell with 3 blocks in this game already is now the all-time leader in block shots since they started taking the stats. That's the great one on Pacioretty right there. In 05-06, they started to collect the stats on block shots, and Chris Russell is now the leader of that pack with 2,000 block shots in his career. And for Dave Tippett, he said, listen, Jack, there's a lot of subjective stats out there, different places a hit, you have to put a guy through the board. Some places you touch him, you get a hit. A block shot is a block shot, and Chris Russell is now number 1 in that department.
Waugh wins a face-off from Draisaitl. Vegas up top. Pietrangelo drifts down low. Backdoor. What a save! Koskinen again! This time season. Oilers dish it out of their own end. Remember, he came in 10-2. An underappreciated 10-2. Broberg fell down. Vegas might have something brewing right here. Wall and Marchessault along the end boards. Marchessault centering pass, and Smith could not bury that. Draisaitl, I think, was slashed.
It's going to be a penalty for sure. I'm not sure if they have one coming back, but certainly the slash on Marchessault is going to be called, I believe, on that backtrack. Right into the hands of Leon Draisaitl. Tons of pressure by the Vegas Golden Knights once again. As you mentioned, Jack, Mikko Koskinen is absolutely on fire right now and seeing everything. Great read by him, extension to the left pad to put it down. And denying again, another look at it here. A beautiful pass from Pietrangelo in the corner, defenseman all the way down on the rush and denied by Koskinen. All that pressure is kind of put on the back burner after a slashing penalty on Draisaitl by Marchessault, and an opportunity for the most potent power play in the league to get stabilized in this game and maybe get on the board. And here's the whack right there that Draisaitl didn't like. He gave him a shot back on the hit.
And that's the way for the skill players to protect themselves, Louis, correct? In terms of creating space. Now, I will ask you, we're talking about Chris Russell. A question was asked of Zach Kassian. Punch in the face or block shot? What would you rather do, Louis? I guess it depends on who's throwing the punch.
If it's Tony Twist, I want the block shot.
Here's Tyson Barrie off the draw. Oiler power play 39%, as Louis alluded to. Backdoor play to McDavid, hopped over his stick. As it's Hyman setting up in front. Draisaitl in the bumper roll, but carved out of there to Vegas' Mark Stone. Pursued by Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. Golden Knights penalty kill improved. Here's a shot. Stevenson held briefly by Koskinen and then dropped off for Leon Draisaitl, who leads the league not only in goals with 20, but 10 have come on the power play. That's a league best. Here's McDavid. Gets it back from Tyson Barrie, who had 2 assists in the win over Arizona on Wednesday. McDavid smashed into the boards by Braden McNabb. Good, strong play. Pietrangelo comes up with it, ushers it up the right-hand side, and Vegas might have something brewing. Janmark lost control of the puck, and that drew the play offside. With 7.25 to go in the first.
The Oilers are really flat right now. They're just not on their toes, and they're not making plays, and they're not sharp. And credit the Vegas Golden Knights. They've been winning the puck battles and being aggressive. Here's the shorthanded chance. It's Stone once again, the best stick in the National Hockey League, picking pucks off, steals it, passes it, and for Chandler Stevenson, excellent this year for the Vegas Golden Knights. Gets fended off by Mikko Koskinen on that reply, and then the big hit at the other end. McNabb catches McDavid. He fumbles that puck a bit. You know they're going to be aggressive on the penalty kill as much as they can against the top power play unit in the National Hockey League, and have dug in on the kill.
Look at this, Dave Tippett wasting no time going to the second unit. As you talked about, Louis, slow starts have been a recurring theme for Edmonton. They've given up the first goal in 9 of their last 10. The good news for them is they're 6-4 in those 10 games. Here's Broberg and McLeod on the right side with Bouchard, who clubs one behind the net. Fogle and Puljujarvi round out the power play quintet. Here's Riley Smith challenging, kept alive for Broberg, and now Fogle. He'll dish, open, get it back from McLeod, a shot, and that was blocked. Never reached Robin Leonard. Rebound out, Evan Bouchard. Now McLeod kicked it back to Bouchard. So I think Dave Tippett is sensing a little flat. Get the second unit out. Here's a chance. Puljujarvi down low, denied by Leonard. After the initial blast from Bouchard, and a clear by Vegas to center. Puljujarvi walks in. And the second unit is ratcheted up the pressure on Vegas, but McNabb finds Stevenson for an outlet, and Vegas has killed it off. Puljujarvi went after and erased Stevenson.
I think it's just a simplified attack as well. I think for Dave Tippett, he wanted to get the second unit out there, just try and change it up a little bit. As it's the top unit you see more often than not, so a little different look, and it pays off with a great chance to rebound.
Steal by Stone, and flashing upstairs, Mikko Koskinen makes another save to keep this scoreless 14 minutes in from T-Mobile Arena.
Order all your game time favorites now. And Max Pacioretty's always hungry for goals, 306 in his NHL career. This is one of them against the Seattle Kraken. And as a result of that goal, Max Pacioretty's found himself a spot in history. He's only one of 5 NHL players to score against all 32 NHL teams. So unless there is expansion, for now, Pacioretty's maxed out when it comes to scoring against the teams against him.
Thank you, Gene. We'll see. Connor McDavid plays in Seattle next Friday. Just a memo. Kick back by Yamamoto, back inside the Vegas blue line. Beauty of a first period thus far, but we're still scoreless. Edmonton has been outshot 14-8 as Yamamoto deals, and now D-to-D Russell for Tyson Barrie. Jack and Louie with you alongside Gene Principe, hovering in various recesses of T-Mobile Arena. Pacioretty, lead pass from Pietrangelo. They'll knock it toward the Oiler net. Russell does a nice job of shielding Pietrangelo off the puck, and now Edmonton might have something brewing. Draisaitl streaks in, centering on net, save runner, a second one, nearly squeezed through. Draisaitl tried to bank it off him, and it was stolen away by Adam Brooks. Draisaitl knew he had Brooks defending and nearly took advantage. Stone controlling for the Golden Knights. He'll drop it off and then turned over immediately by Theodore. Draisaitl moves to center and then scoops it toward the Vegas net.
Strong check by that line, Jack, and you're right. It was a nice drive wide by Draisaitl, and both Nugent Hopkins and Yamamoto went to the net.
Dadonov blistered one wide off the rush, and now Cassian, a quick play to McDavid, bursts in, shot save made by Leonard. Tell you what, he hasn't been as spectacular, but he's been rock solid. Dadonov one-on-one. Back defensively, doing a nice job. Philip Broberg, smooth as silk in his third NHL game thus far. Cassian comes up with a loose puck, struggles to control, eventually to Hyman, and a dump on net squeezed by Robin Lehner. We are scoreless. Now a message from the Chevrolet Good Deeds Cup.
We want to see your game-changing good deeds to make hockey more inclusive. Visit ChevroletGoodDeedsCup.ca to find out more.
Not a lot of point blankers on Robin Lehner, but this drive by McDavid you saw. Draisaitl last shift come down the left-hand side. Yamamoto with a good opportunity. Then McDavid just fires that one, and that rebound went directly out, right down Main Street. Something to look forward in the future of this game. If you're having those shots, you've seen 2 of them now that he's gotten the save on, but it's been a big rebound off the pads of Leonard that's come directly out with nobody there.
Wall walking in. Edmonton, meanwhile, now with 7 of the last 8 shots on goal this game. So a pushback from the Oilers after a sluggish start, and it started with that second power play unit, Louie.
Yeah, just a little bit of traction, and for Dave Tippett, just a good sense on his part to understand that the Vegas Golden Knights were prepped. They did get out there for a minute. They had an opportunity to create their chances, and it was a good penalty kill by the Vegas Golden Knights. And you know what? They were able to kill it off, but it generated some chances and carries over into the 5-on-5 play.
Icing Edmonton, Gene Principe.
Well, we're really happy to have this on the network. Canada's men's basketball team kicks off World Cup qualifying against the Bahamas on Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific on Sportsnet and Sportsnet Now.
Draw to the right of Mikko Koskinen. And it's Nick Hague dealing for Pietrangelo, broken up by Fogle, and the Oilers with a 2-on-1. Puljujarvi and McLeod. A shot tipped off the blocker of Leonard. And now McLeod battling for position. Carved out. Now a shot CC tipped, and a save made by Leonard. Puljujarvi creating space between circles. Fierce battle for the puck. And chiseling out of there finally was Brett Howden.
5 shots in a row for Edmonton. That was a good one from the blue line. Goes through that traffic, and Puljujarvi's been around it.
Howden to Colasar. His shot tipped over the net from Colton Sevier. Broberg, Benson, and now Sevier will break through traffic. Cody Ceci streaks in. Drop pass. Sevier shot towed aside by Leonard. Might have been heading wide anyway. And Pietrangelo will rim off the boards and cleared carefully out by McJesus Janmark. Broberg denied entry by Ben Hutton, and the Oilers will reload here with 2.5 to go in a scoreless first period. The teams have now split 28 shots evenly. Good, entertaining opening frame. White Cloud down the middle, Stevenson. And Stone, the intended target, another steal, 2-on-1. Nugent Hopkins, Yamamoto. Nugent Hopkins shoots and scores. That's his second goal of the year, and it gives Edmonton the lead in Las Vegas.
Boy, was that ever a perfect shot by Ryan Nugent Hopkins, the first outnumbered rush that Edmonton has had. And you said it, Jack, stabilizing after a real good start by the Vegas Golden Knights. Mikko Koskinen held his team in this game. Didn't allow Vegas to get on the board, deflated them just a bit, and you started to see Edmonton gain some traction. Beautiful little pass by Barry, right out of the zone, onto the stick of Nugent Hopkins, and he doesn't try and force this pass across through McNabb. He takes this one, looks, he knows to some traction. Beautiful little pass by Barry, right out of the zone, onto the stick of Nugent Hopkins, and he doesn't try and force this pass across through McNabb. He takes this one, looks, he knows it's a 2-on-1. He walks to the top of the circle, off the bar. 1-0. That's just a great shot. And for Nugent Hopkins, who's got a ton of assists this year, only his second goal, that's the biggest of his season so far, as it gives his team the lead. This one, looks, he knows it's a 2-on-1. He walks to the top of the circle, off the bar. 1-0. That's just a great shot. For Nugent Hopkins, who's got a ton of assists this year, only his second goal, that's the biggest of his season so far, as it gives his team the lead after a back-and-forth first period. Edmonton strikes first.
Also gets him off the schneid, Louis. As you know, he was pointless in his last four, so he's on the board, his second goal. You love that wrist shot, off the bar and in. And now you've got Draisaitl stepping in, trying to give it back to Barry, who gets the primary assist on the scoring play, but broken up. And Riley Smith brings it back the other way. Also point number 498 for Ryan Nugent Hopkins in his 11-year career. He'll dish off to Chris Russell. 90 seconds to go in the period. Russell gains the zone and softly into the corner. Nugent Hopkins reaching and cleared by Vegas down the right-hand side. Broberg tried to sell for the icing call and doesn't get it. There's also 6 goals for Nugent Hopkins in a dozen games against the Golden Knights. Cassian disrupted as he hit the Vegas line. Stevenson had it poked away. McDavid a little good give and go from Cassian. Stroke it along the boards for Zach Hyman. 2 players collapse on him. Stevenson clears down the middle with less than a minute to go in the period. But the Oilers, just the second time in their last 11 games, they get the first goal. Pietrangelo inadvertently put it off the back of his own net, fought back, regained possession for his team, and now stepping up to Stone. Stevenson back in front for Stone, and Broberg was there to erase. Pietrangelo. Stone, left wide, Hunt. Back across to Pietrangelo. Off his back foot. Centered off the skate of Pacioretty. Missed time with a broken foot earlier this season. William Karlsson currently out with a broken foot. Stone a turnover. And here's a chance for Zach Hyman. Stone trying to get back. Hyman back and score! 2-0 Edmonton. And Hyman's off the schneid with his 9th goal of the year and 200th career point.
Goals in his last 7 for Zach Hyman, but he's been all over it. It's one of those situations where you know if you just keep battling away and driving pucks to the net, this is a great individual effort. And Mark Stone is not happy on the bench. He's just trying to get his team motivated here to stay with this. Right here, nice little pickpocket. It's CC with a jab. I think Cassian might just put it ahead of Hyman just a little bit. He beats Stone to the net, fights off the great stick of Stone right there. Just that body contact to lean back into Stone, separate, goes to the backhand, and finishes on Leonard. 2-0 Edmonton. Ahead of Hyman just a little bit. He beats Stone to the net, fights off the great stick of Stone right there. Just that body contact to lean back into Stone, separate, goes to the backhand, and finishes on Leonard. 2-0 Edmonton.
Cleared in by Vegas. Thunderous forecheck by Carrier. 5 seconds to go. Theodore can't get a shot away. A steal. McDavid from the line knew he had to release, and it was flicked aside by Leonard. But what a comeback. Edmonton absolutely dominant in the latter half of that first period. To the point on deck. The Oilers shake off a sluggish start. They lead it by a deuce after 20 in Vegas on Hockey Night in Canada.
They lead 2-0 after 20 minutes of play. Lotsu Edmonton Oilers fans in the stands, and I think Shania Twain would be cheering for the Edmonton Oilers. She's on a little bit of a break before she resumes the show here in Las Vegas. And if you ask Jack Eichel what his favorite Shania Twain song might be while he was in Buffalo, either Well, I'm Out of Here or That Don't Impress Me Much, because Eichel, who is injured, got traded to the Vegas Golden Knights. And while he is not here with the team, certainly his presence is felt. And that was the case Black Friday yesterday at the team store at the practice facility. It's got the jersey on the outside. You walk in, you want a Jack Eichel t-shirt, there's a t-shirt. You can buy a t-shirt. If maybe you're not interested in a t-shirt, you can get yourself a print of Jack Eichel. So the Vegas Golden Knights and Kelly McCrimmon don't have him here. Neither does George McPhee, but he could be back here at least around by the holidays. They don't have their Jack Eichel, but we've got our Jack Michaels, who's ready for period 2.
Now that I knew was coming. Thank you, Gene. After 20 minutes of play, Edmonton a 2-0 lead. Pete DeBoer has done a phenomenal job of keeping Vegas very firmly entrenched in a playoff spot with all the injuries. And again, the man games lost lead. And Pete DeBoer has done a phenomenal job of keeping Vegas very firmly entrenched in a playoff spot with all the injuries. And again, the man games lost due to COVID as well. And key guys. Golden Knights come in with a 12-8 record, third best points percentage in the Pacific. But the Oilers weathered the early storm and got 2 on the board. Hyman and Cassian, who hooked up for the second goal with Connor McDavid at the onset of this second period. Philip Broberg played nearly half of that first period. This is his 4th NHL game, lest we forget. Steele McDavid loads, fires, and that just missed. Blistered wide on the blocker's side. And the Golden Knights are able to clear back through center. Stone waiting, regrouping. Thought his team was maybe offside. What a move by Theodore to the net. Denied again by Koskinen, point blank. He picks up where he left off in the first.
Little housey going there by Shea Theodore on Broberg, and you're right, he did play half of that first period and starts the second, and a nice play to put that puck into the offensive zone. But Shea Theodore says, you know what, I got some moves too, kid, and watch this one. He just jumps up on the play, little fake through the legs, just a great move by Shea Theodore, but a better save for Mikko Koskinen with the glove, who was perfect in that first period, has carried over that play into the second.
15 saves on the night. Nicholas Haig inadvertently hit one of the linesmen in the thigh. That was Justin Johnson, the Oilers the other way. Draisaitl down the slot, couldn't get a shot away. Yamamoto bats it down. Goal scores in the first period. Nugent Hopkins and Hyman. Shot by Barry, tipped high up on the plexi. It's going to be gathered by Haig and cleared ahead for Marchessault. Wasn't yet at center. Koskinen elected to play the puck. Might have been icing against the Golden Knights, and now they look to take advantage. Wall stripped from behind by Draisaitl with that huge paddle. An entertaining conversation with him before the game. Turnover. Haig walks in, the shot. That's rocketed wide on a deflection. Marchessault sneaking down the wall. He's had a great year. Missed some time due to COVID. Looks for a return pass from Riley Smith and eventually dislodged by Draisaitl all the way down the ice. And that will be an icing call against Edmonton 2 minutes into the second.
Good stick to keep that wide. Mikko Koskinen with 14 saves in the first period, 1 already in the second on Shea Theodore. And you look at the numbers that he's put up this year in the first 7 games, the goals against were down 2.18, 4.04 in his last 5, but he's 4-1 in those games and one of the better goaltenders in the league with run support from his team. Obviously a high-scoring Edmonton Oilers team, but a win's a win. He's finding a way to make the saves at the appropriate time, much like in that first period when the Vegas Golden Knights in that first 10 minutes were all over Edmonton. Made some amazing saves and just settled them into their game and have a 2-0 lead that is carried over from that first.
Draw 1 by Adam Brooks against Draisaitl, and the Gold Knights look to continue the pressure. Nice play by Barry going down to one knee to break up the interior feed, and here's Yamamoto with a drop pass. Nugent Hopkins back to Yamamoto. Rich shot save made by Leonard. Rebound Nugent Hopkins will find. Delivered to Draisaitl. Inside, went off a skate. Bouchard. Nugent Hopkins. Draisaitl. Battling through traffic, ultimately turns it over. and nudged ahead. Jumping up in the play, Brooks to Pietrangelo. He has an open lane. A shot swallowed up by Lagesson. Dadonov tried to center, and that's eaten by Koskinen.
Providing competitive odds on all sports, Sports Interaction is Canada's odds maker.
2.5 gone by in the second period. Mikko Koskinen has been peppered tonight. The Golden Knights unable to break through. Edmonton beat Vegas in this building 5-3 back in October. Cassian had the game winner in the third period. Zach Hyman scored twice in that game as well. He's got 3 goals in this building this season. They'll play in Edmonton in mid-January and mid-April. Here's McLeod. The outlet to Warren Foegele. Leisurely in. Knocked off his stick. No problem by Ben Hutton. And now Howden will angle one off the boards. Kolasar thunders his way in. Bouchard able to brush him off initially and shovel it ahead for Foegele. Oilers may have numbers here. Foegele bumped off the puck. Puljujarvi there. Open man, and I'm not quite sure why McLeod passed off there. Vegas 2-on-1 the other way. Pacioretty, one-timer save! Koskinen on Stevenson. Side to side, Mikko Koskinen continues to be superb.
And that has to be a shot by Ryan McLeod. And the one thing still in his game, he just needs to ratchet up and improve on that selfishness when you get a grade A chance. This is a great pickpocket right on the tape. It was a great pass back, but he had the opportunity just to rip that puck. And then it results in a 2-on-1 the other way. It was Bouchard that was down on the rush that sets that play in motion. He was the intended target for the one-timer in the slot. Great save by Koskinen the other way.
Vegas has been excellent in the second period in November. A +11 goal differential, and it's kind of reflective in their record, Louis. As you know, that loss to Edmonton, part of a 1-4 start. They're 11-4 since, even with all the injuries and illness.
It's incredible they've been able to do it, and that's something Pierre DeBoer has talked about. With just, keeping it together with real key players out of your lineup. He's been impressed with how guys have dug in, have elevated their game. Chandler Stevenson leading the team in points this year. In a situation where he's just elevated his game. He's stepped up in that situation. That's what we like to see from your team. When you have injuries, the other guys get an opportunity to go out there and do the job. And to be where they are right now with the injuries they've sustained this year and guys out of their lineup for different situations is pretty incredible.
Louis DeBoer's 99th game as Vegas' head coach tonight. Here's a centering pass from Pacioretty, offered by Pietrangelo down low. Pacioretty setting up. Stevenson in front. Tried to center. Intercepted by McDavid. Ahead of the field is Zach Hyman. He'll skate into the pocket. Have a breakaway. Rich shot. Save made. Robin Leonard. Spectacular, and he keeps it just 2-0.
Well, you just said it, Jack. Zach Hyman likes playing in this building. Has 3 goals already this year. 2 back on October 22nd. And just a nice little chip pass here. And for Shea Theodore, he almost knocks that down one-handed. Zach Hyman, you're not going to catch the powerful skater in alone. What a save by Robin Leonard, though. Just stands his ground down on the one knee and keeps that glove high. A good chance for Hyman to pick that spot, and Leonard doesn't bite at all.
Wall winning the faceoff against Derek Ryan. Slid out safely by the Golden Knights. Sevier bides his time and snaps it back in. Both goaltenders have made a torrent of good saves. Here's Marchessault, backing his way in, out to McNabb. One-timer Smith, and that might have been tipped out of play by Waugh, I believe, in front of Koskinen.
Well, Zach Hyman with the 2 goals October 22nd. We're going to take a look at him. And for a new player to a new team, he came out and really was firing all cylinders. This is the power play goal that goes off the skate. Put yourself in the position it does count, was reviewed. And there's the one-timer on a beautiful pass from behind the net. And Leon Draisaitl afterwards with 2 goals himself. And, sometimes when you're a little bit of a slump, the empty netter for Draisaitl finished it off in that game in October. But for Zach Hyman, just struggling to find the back of the net and a little bit of a slump for him this year with a big goal for his team, and almost had another one on that breakaway we just saw.
Waugh over Strode, Yamamoto to Draisaitl on the counter. Weaving his way in on Whitecloud. Surveying, dishing, CC a shot, and that was tipped wide. Nugent Hopkins taken down. Golden Knights come away with the puck. It's Marchessault. Breaking through is Riley Smith. Tried to center it. Draisaitl got back defensively. Expertly played. Nugent Hopkins out to Ceci. No problem for Edmonton. Ceci broke his stick. And the Golden Knights will pump it right back in. Broberg looked to move it out. With help from Nugent Hopkins. Did not. Pietrangelo fired. Save. Rebound. Donato stopped again. Then a backhand wraparound disappears into traffic. Mikko Koskinen without a stick. And the Oilers jam one up the boards. He still has no stick. Now a shot to the point. A save, Mikko Koskinen. A turnover. Carrying. In front. Backhand denied. Koskinen still without a stick. Flopping around. Playing fantastic hockey between the pipes. Pietrangelo knocks down a clear by Draisaitl. Koskinen now with lumber in hand. Here's Nick Hay. He has been peppered tonight.
I don't know where Yamamoto was going with that puck, but he brought it right back into the action.
Puljujarvi breakaway. Excuse me, partner. Rich shot, score! And yes, Puljujarvi has the goal he desperately needed. His first and 9 gives Edmonton a 3-0 lead. It's his 7th.
And timely goals by players that are really wanting a goal and needing a goal to get things going. Puljujarvi has been not demoted, but put down in the third line. Wasn't happening with McDavid. And what a beautiful sequence of saves by Mikko Koskinen. Just terrific action for Vegas around the goal. He denies him again like he did in the first. A stretch pass on the tape. And what a move by Puljujarvi.
Lead, it's his 7th.
And timely goals by players that are really wanting a goal and needing a goal to get things going. Puljujarvi has been not demoted, but put down in the third line. Wasn't happening with McDavid. And what a beautiful sequence of saves by Mikko Koskinen. Just terrific action for Vegas around the goal. He denies him again like he did in the first. A stretch pass on the tape. And what a move by Puljujarvi to make it 3-0 for Edmonton on the transitional play going the other way.
A clear by the Oilers down the left-hand side. I can't recall Mikko Koskinen ever playing better than he has tonight. Vegas has been all over Edmonton at times. And Koskinen has created momentum for his team.
You know, this morning, we didn't really know who was going to be starting goaltender for the Edmonton Oilers. Was young Stuart Skinner get a chance? Was it Koskinen? Dave Tippett didn't want to provide that to anybody, but he goes with Mikko Koskinen, the veteran, and has it ever paid off with some outstanding hockey? Puljujarvi makes it 3-0 for Edmonton in the second period.
Release gel caps.
Well, Mikko Koskinen has been standing on his head in this game and really allowed his team to stabilize in the first period. There's one save on Marchessault, another one Pacioretty was all over the place, allowed his team to get back into it, and bang, there's the goal by Ryan Nugent Hopkins that makes it 1-0 on the 2-on-1. Shortly thereafter, it's the breakaway goal. Great fending off of the stick on Stone by Hyman, goes to the backhand, beats Leonard to make it 2-0 in this third period again after a flurry by the Vegas Golden Knights. It's Puljujarvi down the other way that makes it 3-0.
Oilers working around. Stevenson looking to disrupt the cycle, does so with a feed to Mark Stone. 3-on-2 if Vegas wants it. Breaking in, Pacioretty centering and getting back was Zach Hyman. Floated to the neutral area of the ice. A shot by Pacioretty on net. And a save made by Koskinen. The Oilers a bit fortunate there. Pacioretty probably had a little more room than he realized. Hyman attempted to hold it in. And now Russell will back off as it's advanced one more time by Mark Stone. 22 saves for Mikko Koskinen. I get the sense he has a chance in the Edmonton community to go from besmirched to beloved in one night. Backhander save on Koskinen again against Jonathan Marchessault. And this is the elite that Vegas is sending out. Puljujarvi. Pacioretty victimized. Stone a handful of occasions. Nick Wong. Up to Riley Smith. Marchessault tried to stuff it inside. Cleared to Puljujarvi by Cody Ceci, and now Ryan McLeod looks for help behind. Throws it toward the net. That was nearly redirected into his own goal by Pietrangelo. Wound up on the boards and clear. No harm done there as Puljujarvi picks it up in the neutral zone and takes a skate.
Good drive by Fulmer, center drive there on that attempt by McLeod. That's the reason why Pietrangelo was there and had to make sure that didn't get to the stick of Fulmer.
And again, McLeod learning on the fly, Louis, going north-south with it instead of trying another lateral pass. Here's Draisaitl, beautifully on the tape for Nugent Hopkins. CC jumped up and was punched off the stick by Adam Brooks. Steal Draisaitl, walks in and then tried to lay it off short side for Nugent Hopkins. Miscommunication there, rammed off the boards and out by Will Carrier. Here's Brooks, CC defending. Thrust around the boards for Dadonov. Carrier looking to create space. It's William Lagesson off the board successfully to Yamamoto. Draisaitl trying to claw his way through heavy traffic. Ben Hutton had it on his stick and lost it to Nugent Hopkins. Toss back behind, Whitecloud. Dadonov settled by Bouchard up the gut off the heel of Nugent Hopkins' stick. Hutton tries the left-hand side. Bouchard and Lagesson say no. Nugent Hopkins a drive down the middle, chop back the other way, well done by Howden. Ends up striking it into the Oilers zone. And now Vegas reloads in neutral as the Oilers will break out. Benson kicks it back to Lagesson. Bouchard will snap it around the boards. Leonard tried to send it off the window. Sevier rolled it in front, carefully taken by Howden, but not out. Held in by Chris Russell. Hutton will scoop and clear down the middle of the ice. Rolling puck collected by Russell and cleared ahead for Tyler Benson. Play onside. Benson looking for his first goal, denied by Robin Leonard with no rebound. 9 1/4 to go, second period. Some rough stuff in front of the Vegas net. Nothing material coming out of these mini altercations as Tyler Benson, a big grin, and why not? His Edmonton Oilers up by a count of 3-0. Sin City has been anything but sinful for the Oilers tonight. I see that.
Yeah.
Well, there's a look at the #1 goal scorer and point getter around the National Hockey League, who this week was asked whether he might score 82 goals in a season. He kind of, I don't think that's going to happen, but this could happen. He could join this list of players who scored 50 goals in 50 games or less. It took 35 years from the first time to the next time. You see what the 1980s was all about, including Wayne Gretzky leading the way. Brett Hull, the last to do it 30 years ago, and he may not get it, but it won't be Jack and Louie because of a lack of trouble.
Tonight, this man, Connor McDavid, preparing to take the face-off, and Leon Draisaitl combined for just one shot. But, Louis, you talked about it before the game. Some guys on droughts have broken out. Speaking of breaking out, here's a backhand score. Stevenson off the rush. He finally becomes the first man to beat Mikko Koskinen tonight, and the Golden Knights are back in the game. Stevenson, Vegas' leading scorer, with his 8th to cut it to 3-1.
What a season he's having, and he just continues to get stronger and stronger every game, elevated up to the top center position, and he's done this throughout his career. Won a Cup in 18 with Washington, and in Vegas here, he's just found his stride, and he's not looking like he's going to slow down. Beautiful pass on the tape in stride. Push to the backhand by Chris Russell, and I would like to see Koskinen a little more aggressive and understanding there's nowhere really Stevenson can go. He can't really take that anywhere else but fire that to the net. He beats him on the glove hand side for a 3-1 game, but credit Stevenson, drives through the middle, gets that puck, and buries it in the end.
Theodore wiring one down the middle. Barry at the red line. So were you saying kind of lodge yourself against the near post?
Well, yeah, I mean, you have a defenseman that's pushed him.
McDavid rolled it in front, and I think he's just drawn a penalty against the Vegas Golden Knights with that quick interior move. It's a hooking call.
I'm sure Kelly Rudy will probably have a better opinion on that than myself, but a good drive again by McDavid to come to the middle of the ice and work that puck out of the corner, use the feet to separate, and got traffic in front once again. The penalty is drawn as McNabb doesn't like it too much. He's looking up at himself, trying to see it again. And right here, just a nice little pass, the move to the inside. But right there, as soon as that stick gets in the arms and the hand, I mean, that's, you know, Connor McDavid trying to drive to the backhand side. You're denying an opportunity to bring that to the net. Anytime it gets parallel, it's an easy one for an official to call, especially around that blue paint. Second power play for Edmonton.
Important kill for Vegas here, Louis. Golden Knights finally get some momentum. They can't afford to give one up here and be down 3 again. Nugent Hopkins off the draw. Hyman to the hole. A save made Leonard. Rebound to Barry. Juggled momentarily and then off to McDavid. Draisaitl in the slot. Stone comes over. Forces it free. Somehow kept in by McDavid and Barry. Still bouncing around. Still held in by Edmonton. Stone with a chance. McDavid snatched it back. Over to Hyman. To the net. Backhanded a dime. Robin Leonard. Out to Nugent Hopkins across. McDavid a blast. And that may have been deflected up on the plexi. Shoveled off to Barry. McDavid will step in to the net. Draisaitl waiting. Shooting short side. That stayed out. High in the air. Pietrangelo finally gets a clear. The Oilers' relentlessness created 3 more chances.
That was amazing. Stay with it on that loose puck. And do you think maybe this top unit didn't like being taken off in that first period by Dave Tippett? They were relentless, as you said, on that puck. That puck should have been down there 4 times. And they somehow won those battles to keep it alive.
Riley Smith makes a nice play on Draisaitl at the line. Edmonton reloaded. Still on top 3-1. And a power play with a chance to push it back to a
opinion on that. On the glove.
Finally,
Won't be Jack and Louis because
going to take the fifth of the game. Some guys on droughts have broken out. Speaking of breaking out, here's a backhand score. Stevenson off the rush. He finally becomes the first man to beat Mikko Koskinen tonight, and the Golden Knights are back in the game. Stevenson, Vegas' leading scorer, with his 8th to cut it to 3-1.
What a season he's having, and he just continues to get stronger and stronger every game, elevated up to the top center position, and he's done this throughout his career. Won a Cup in 18 with Washington, and in Vegas here, he's just found his stride, and he's not looking like he's going to slow down. Beautiful pass on the tape in stride. Push to the backhand by Chris Russell, and I would like to see Koskinen a little more aggressive and understanding there's nowhere really Stevenson can go. He can't really take that anywhere else but fire that to the net. He beats him on the glove hand side for a 3-1 game, but credit Stevenson, drives through the middle, gets that puck, and buries it in the end.
Theodore wiring one down the throat. McDavid,
Been down amazing, stay with it.
relentlessness created 3 more chances.
Amazing, stay with it on that loose puck. And do you think maybe this top unit didn't like being taken off in that first period by Dave Tippett? They were relentless, as you said, on that puck. That puck should have been down the ice 4 times, and they somehow won those battles to keep it alive.
Riley Smith makes a nice play on Draisaitl at the line. Edmonton reloaded. Still on top 3-1. And a power play with a chance to push it back to a 3-goal lead. McDavid ducks inside. Puljujarvi this time with a second effort, but as he tried to extract, his pass fired through the middle.
Good intentions. Just wanted to stay in that battle, be heavy on the stick, but he wanted it a little bit too aggressively and iced it down the ice for the Vegas Golden Knights.
He's got a season-high 6 shots on net this Puljujarvi, including a goal that got him out of a 9-game slump. One off his career high for shots on net. Cassian tried to give it back to Broberg off target, and Kolasar will bring it up to center and essentially kill off the remainder of this Edmonton power play. So the Golden Knights do maintain some momentum here. Puljujarvi at center. McNabb is out of the box. And the Vegas Golden Knights kill it off and remain very much in the thick of this game. Cassian tried to shovel it in front. That was denied. 6.5 to go, second period. Crowd sensing a chance for more. Marchessault walks in, and that was tipped just wide. Out of the reach of Janmark and settled by Bouchard.
Nice little subtle play right there by Sevier, just to kind of alleviate that forecheck and pressure. Nice little reverse back to Bouchard. Buy some time to get out of the zone.
Vogel lays it off to Sevier. Edmonton back to work in the offensive zone. Vogel trying to create by Ryan ahead. Cross hit. By Nugent Hopkins jumping up his Draisaitl with a head of steam. I don't think Nugent Hopkins saw him. Timeout on the ice. 5:08 to go in the second. Connor McDavid of the Edmonton Oilers momentarily frustrated.
The Raptors and Celtics meet for the third time this season on Sunday when they tip off in Toronto at 5:30 Eastern, 2:30 Pacific on Sportsnet 1 and Sportsnet Now. Well, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, Jack and Louie called his second goal of the season earlier on, and a look at his numbers this season. At one point, he was joking on whether he was in a slump or not because he had not scored. But I think, Louie and Jack, when you look at those numbers, that's certainly not numbers of someone who's on a slide.
Yeah, it was a while though, Gene, where he had the bagel on the board in the goal column, but was leading the league in assists. He said, "I didn't know whether I was slumping or streaking." Here's Draisaitl
looking for Yamamoto. We go inside 5 to play period 2. Highly entertaining affair between two of the best, not only in the Pacific, but in the Western Conference. And now as the puck pops up in the air, Robin Leonard will just reach back like a can of corn in baseball and make the catch.
Peter DeBoer going a little bit of a different matchup, putting the Stevenson line out against the Draisaitl line instead of McDavid, so trying to shuffle some things up. And his team had some chances. He has to be happy with the way his team's come out in this game, the way they've played, and the resilience to keep sticking with it. It's Chandler Stevenson. You just saw go to the bench there with the one goal for the Vegas Golden Knights in this second period. They continue to push. They went head-to-head shots with Edmonton throughout this game. And it wasn't for Koskinen early in the game in the first period. Halfway through this period, it could be a much different game.
On the Vegas scores, they usually win. Their only loss when they get 3 this year was to Edmonton. 12-1 when they scored 3. Drive by Ceci and then Broberg. First one fought off by Leonard, the second one high. Laid off the corner glass by Nugent-Hopkins, and that will draw play to a halt.
For Robin Leonard, he saved the first 14 shots by Edmonton, let 2 goals, and 3 on 5, I'll get it right, and now has closed the door again. And that's kind of just him stabilizing as well. It's a 2-goal game in the second period. And the tough shots that he's faced in this period after that last goal against, he's been really good. I mean, Puljujärvi in the breakaway, give him credit, great goal that he scored, but he's denied a couple guys in tight as well.
David able to win the face-off. Barry rolled it down low. Leonard trying to avoid a 4th consecutive loss to Edmonton head-to-head. Here's McDavid barreling down the slot, driving. Leonard kept it out. No penalties on the play, much to McDavid's chagrin. Net dislodged.
I'll tell you, McDavid's a little fired up. You saw him break the stick at the bench, and listen, this is just the intensity and desire to want to continue to produce. And right here, fights through one, fights through another. A little wrapped up there with White Cloud. He's kind of got his arm around him a little bit, and he wanted something on that one, but for Robin Leonard this year, the 34 shots against this season is 3rd highest in the National Hockey League. Marc-Andre Fleury, who was the Vezina winner last year in Seattle, 34.8. So not typical territory when you look at the 26.2 shots is what they averaged for the Vegas Golden Knights. And I just think, again, that has to do with the injured players in the organization. They've had to kind of shuffle some guys around, bring some young guys into the mix on the back end, much like Edmonton is in this game, and just find a way to grind out and win games. And they've done that with 12 wins on the season.
They're right there. And
you brought up saying, Robin Leonard, those stats don't necessarily add up with the games that he's been putting forward as well. He has played better than those stats sometimes show. He's made saves when it's necessary to make saves.
Nick Waugh down low in the corner. Marchessault will put it around the boards. Louis alluding to the fact that Vegas, if you looked at the advanced metrics, there's Marchessault right on cue. Real chance and another save on Riley Smith by Mikko Koskinen. He spoiled him 3 times tonight. Waugh jumps back into scene, forced to give ground and just thrust across ice, tipped into the slot. Marchessault could not find it cleanly on his stick. Dancing away is Zach Hyman. And with 3 1/4 to play, he'll lay it off to Connor McDavid. With a burst of speed, he'll reach center and pitchfork it in. Louis alluding to the fact that the advanced metrics would tell you that Vegas gives up more quality scoring chances and more expected goals than any other team in the league. Hard to believe. And that's why you look at Leonard's .913 save percentage and say, he's been okay. Well, as Louis says, maybe more than okay.
Quality of shots, right?
Exactly.
Something I certainly want to try and remedy and get a little more defensive-minded in that situation. And that's always the goal for every team, but those are the harder saves to make.
Bouchard will dump it in. I think part of that is Pietrangelo And Theodore, jumping in to try to supplement some offense with all those forwards going down. Walking in, Adam Brooks tried to center. That one off a skate. And after it'll be Shea Theodore. Petrangelo's game has really come alive. Point a game in his last 11 after just one in his first 9. But here a turnover, and Nugent Hopkins down the middle. Wrist shot save made by Leonard with the glove to keep Vegas in it. 3-1 Edmonton, 2 minutes to play in the second. Draisaitl bumped off the puck. Both goaltenders making a number of saves to keep the momentum on their side as Koskinen will cover.
Well, kind of right on point for Robin Leonard. That's a grade A chance by Nugent Hopkins, who uses his speed, which he's always possessed. And I know he errs on the side of defense a lot, but this is typical of what we saw early in Nugent Hopkins' career. Put the Jets in, protect that puck, try and pick a spot. And he does a great job to get a hard, clean shot away right there. Tries to go glove hand on Leonard. We've seen that a couple of times. He's made some terrific saves in tight.
ODCC a clear off the draw.
Spot. He does a great job to get a hard, clean shot away right there. Tries to go glove hand on Leonard. We've seen that a couple of times. He's made some terrific saves in tight.
ODCC a clear off the draw. Falling back is White Cloud. Looking for Stevenson. Angled off the puck by Draisaitl, who tosses over to Ceci. Chipped ahead, Yamamoto with a head of steam. Going for the hit. Petrangelo, he caught him. Yamamoto shaking up. I think he's going to come off here, Louis. 3-on-2 maybe for Vegas if they hurry. Pacioretty bumped off the puck. He'll put it behind the net. Draisaitl. High off the glass. Yamamoto underneath for Edmonton. Hyman breaks away from traffic, and he wasted no time, Louis. Sometimes that is not a good sign.
Yeah, it was the head of McNabb that came up and caught him on that sequence down the wall, and it was just no question. Head-on-face contact. He brushed it off immediately, then skated right to the bench and went down to either try and walk that off or shake it off. We'll have to watch and see what happens with Tyler Yamamoto.
And luckily, Louis, it sounds like the former. He walked it off, and he's already back on the bench. Petrangelo will steer it back in. Marchessault will punch it down. And as I say that, now he's gone back down the tunnel. Hyman, lead pass, left wing, McDavid walks in, tried to center, broken up and carefully played to the corner. Hyman for Chris Russell with a half minute to go in period 2. Cassian, McDavid to the middle, shot blocked. High in the air, trickling, settled by Russell. A shot didn't get through, picked up by Haig, snapped off the boards, collected by Barry. Russell with 15 seconds, scampers to center and drives it in deep. Rattles around to Haig, did not get it out. Puljujärvi, cross ice to Russell, 7 seconds. Russell gets it back from Barry, now low for Fogle. Dislodged by Petrangelo, and Carrier will melt the remaining time. Edmonton 3, Vegas 1 after 2.
Well, here's a hit by Brayden McNabb on Yamamoto as he kind of chips this around. The head comes up and catches him right in the chin. And he shook it off, went down the tunnel, came back. I think he looked at the clock and saw 42 seconds left in the period and said, okay, I'm not getting back out there. I'll go down and walk this one off some more. And you hope that he's okay.
Teams swap second period goals. Edmonton maintains a 3-1 lead after 40. 32 thoughts with Elliott and Jeff on deck on Hockey Night in Canada.
By 2 after 2 at T-Mobile Arena. A reminder, take your hockey fandom anywhere you go and stream on any device. The all-new Sportsnet Now offers flexible pricing options, new features, and an enhanced experience. Start streaming the NHL season on Sportsnet Now today. Visit snnow.ca for details. Louis and Jeff.
Thank you, Gene. NHL Edge IQ is powered by AWS, the official cloud infrastructure provider of the NHL.
Well, you can see the shots from the Vegas Golden Knights in this game tonight. 25 saves, 14 in the first period by Mikko Koskinen. A lot of shots right in that red area. They've converged and had a number of second opportunities that he has been outstanding in keeping out of the net. And for my opinion, the reason why it's a 3-1 lead for the Edmonton Oilers, he has closed the door and deny the Vegas Golden Knights.
Mikko Koskinen looking to keep the Oilers a perfect 10-0 when leading after 2. Kailer Yamamoto was banged up at the end of the second period on the bench and ready to return to action, which begins with Draisaitl winning the opening third period face-off. Broberg tugs it deep into the Vegas zone. Kassian and Hyman swoop in on the wings. CC rounds out the Edmonton fivesome against Waugh, Smith, and Marchessault for Vegas. McNabb and Whitecloud on defense. And Robin Lehner's played well, but for a second straight head-to-head matchup with Koskinen, thus far has been outplayed by Koskinen. Here's a play coming off the wall. Hyman will tuck it into the corner for Zach Kassian. To the point, Tyson Barrie. Knocked down on the boards. Retrieved by Hyman. A shot, save. Lehner eventually finds it.
Good start to the period by Edmonton to come out and really continue the pressure. And Zach Hyman again nose around the net. Just a good cycle down low, stay on the puck, win puck battles, and the feet continue to move for Zach Hyman. That's what makes him so hard to defend against. He's got great hands in tight. He can protect the puck well, but his feet continue to move through the checks, which opens up that lane. That is a good save by Robin Lehner early in the game. Early in this third period, to keep it a 3-1 game.
Vegas 2 come from behind wins when trailing after 2 thus far this season. Nugent Hopkins tucks it back into the Vegas zone. The Oilers keep the Golden Knights bottled up here. Yamamoto persistent. Cleared by Stone. Rifled ahead for Pacioretty by Stevenson. Petrangelo jumps up into the fray. Russell trying to deny. Draisaitl did, knifing it away from Petrangelo in the slot and carrying it up to the Vegas line before shooting it in. Nugent Hopkins around the board. Stone under duress from Yamamoto. Rake free for a moment by Nugent Hopkins. Popped out by Pacioretty. Gives Draisaitl an extra whack. And Draisaitl went with the limp left leg. Didn't get the call. Chipped off the glass and smartly taken Puljujarvi sharp angle. Caught the side of the goal. Cleared by Hutton for Vegas. Carrier will dump it in. Colasar puts the heat on Lagesson. Hutton will pinch down low. Bouchard, an attempted clear, flashed over. Carrier will knock it down. Send it around. Dadonov. Upended by Bouchard. He staples him against the Dashers. Now it's Carrier to Hutton a shot. Brushed away by Fogle. Dadonov with some space and time. Peers inside. Eventually delivers a pass that's broken up. Hutton a shot. Saved Koskinen. Still loose in the blue paint. And ultimately covered by the Edmonton Oilers.
Desjardins agents and advisors are delivering $3 million in Good Spark grants to small businesses across Canada. Apply for yours at goodsparkgrants.ca.
Slash by Pacioretty on Leon Draisaitl right here, right inside the knee. That should have been a penalty in my opinion. You smack a guy there, there's not a lot of protection, there's nerves there, you can have the dead foot happen. There's no question Draisaitl felt that one. I like the backtrack by Draisaitl, stealing the puck, and you and I talked to him yesterday, Jack, and that's one of the things he said the team needs to certainly buckle down on is in situations like this, they need to close out games a little more effectively. That's how you do it. You work back, you steal pucks, you keep the puck in the offensive zone as much as you can.
Gage walking the line, sent it off the boards, grabbed by Stone, a shot was blocked and eventually floated back up ice by Tyler Benson. So defensive zone to start for the fourth line. Senior looks to muscle it down low and keep Vegas hemmed in. Ryan's second effort and the puck lifts out of play. I thought it was curious because Draisaitl kind of corrected us. We're talking about Arizona. Yep. We talked about that stretch where they outshot the Coyotes 38-13, and he quickly said, well, what about the first 5 minutes and the last 5 minutes? Yeah. We still have room for improvement.
And you know what, to me, that's growth, right? That's a player in Leon Draisaitl who's leading the league this year in scoring, saying, listen, we want more. We're not satisfied with just putting up numbers and being an okay team. They want to take that next step. They want to be a contender, and they want to push right to the end. And I like hearing that from Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid this year as well. There's just more attention to the details of the game, and if you look at the pucks that he stole in this game, Leon Draisaitl, that's part of that. Making sure you're coming back, being a tough player to play against defensively, because you know the offense is going to be there.
McDavid wins a face-off for Zach Hyman. Taken down by Whitecloud, still kept it alive, and a blast by Russell, redirected lob. Hyman popped back up, double team down low. McDavid and Cassian try to keep it in, but a good play on the wall by Adam Brooks, and now jumping up is Howard. Driven down low by Dadonov. He's had success historically against Edmonton with 8 goals against the Oilers. Whipped around, shot from the point, and that was redirected up on the glass. McNabb failed to hold the zone. Vegas has to curl back in. Whitecloud taken hard against the boards, made the play to McNabb. Brooks, the outlet, on target, and chipped in ultimately by Brett Howard. Mark and Brooks in on the forecheck. Nugent Hopkins jammed it off the wall, came back to him, and then he found it was streaking McDavid right side. Theodore on him. And backside pressure from Marchessault was able to extract. Then he tumbled to the ice. Nugent Hopkins fell. And Marchessault up through center. Theodore cross ice into traffic. Broken up a couple of Edmonton players on it. Bounced around and somehow made in. Marchessault. A mid-air swipe. And the Golden Knights have crawled within 3-2.
Edmonton was in good position here in a bouncing puck once again. It's the Golden Knights that find it, and Jonathan Marchessault, who missed the last 5 games, had 8 goals in his previous 9 before missing those 5 games, was on fire, picks up where he left off. Just a little bat out of the air that beats Koskinen on the blocker's side. This puck again, look at the numbers that are there to support it right there. It's Marchessault that walks in, and that chip over top finds its way in the back of the net. The spin doesn't work. Ceci has it knocked off of his stick and followed the bouncing puck. And the Vegas Golden Knights are right back in this one.
Frustrating for Dave Tippett and the Oilers. They seemingly had the coverage on that initial pass into the slot. Didn't get it out. Finds its way home. Marchessault 10 goals in 16 games this year. Told you he was having a fantastic year. Carrier wins a battle from Yamamoto. And the Golden Knights set to break out. Open, Dadonov, wrist shot, and that stayed out. Might have caught a portion of the iron as the knob of the stick of Koskinen was also in the vicinity.
I agree. Just a great short side save, I believe, by Koskinen on that one. After Marchessault makes it a 1-goal game, it's the streaky Dadonov that comes down right there, and that's just a good save by him to make sure that he's in that position. He tries to pick that short side, full flight, gets that shot away, and might have caught both of them, as you mentioned, Jack. Just a good job by Koskinen, though, to be in that spot. And you almost can feel the energy growing in the Vegas Golden Knights. They've scored a goal. They haven't got the bounces tonight. They've been up against a hot goaltender in Koskinen, and now it's a 1-goal game, and you can sense they feel they're right back into this in the third period.
Lifted back in. They announced the goal in-house as Riley Smith. I do not believe that's correct. Sent in deep by Vegas, and that will be an icing goal.
Smith was out there for sure in the slot and jamming away as well, but from our look, it looked like it was Marchessault that chopped that puck in the net. Riley Smith's on a tear right now as well, and starting to get healthy, starting to get their key players back in the lineup. And for Peter DeBoer, that's a pleasant sign. He still does say every single day when they get the test results, you're sitting there holding your breath. Who am I going to have available tonight to put into the lineup? And that's just part of being in a COVID NHL in 2021.
Off the draw, Lagesson shot that was blocked. I suspect that PA announcement had a little Jeremy Irons to it. Reversal of fortune there. They announced it as Smith for Marchessault, so I think it's actually reversed. Here's Fogle, double team down low in the corner. Played back, Whitecloud, a chance to move it, and eventually does for Ben Hunt. Regardless, it's 3-2. And Edmonton's 3-goal lead down to 1. Pouliot steps in. Down low to Fogle. Back to the point, Bouchard. Fogle, Bouchard, tried to find a stick belonging to Pouliot, he missed it. And Vegas had taken off the boards and it's cleared by Mark Stone. 5.5 gone by, third period, here's Stone. walking in on Bouchard. Jump pass and blistered wide. That's ready. And then Stone fired on net, deflected into the waiting arms of Mikko Koskinen.
That was a good save right there by Koskinen on Pacioretty, who got that shot away in a hurry. And you know what, Jack? It was actually Riley Smith's goal, and we've got to give him credit for that. It goes off of his skate. So if you watch this chop by Marchessault, so the left skate of Smith right there, it deflects off of it, goes up over top of the blocker, Koskinen. He kind of flashes the blocker at it, but there's no question it elevated. It was a low shot that he was reading. Goes up over top of his blocker. No chance on that one. That's why it's a one-goal game now with 14-14 on the clock, and the Vegas Golden Knights continuing to push.
That keeps my track record in Vegas intact. It's my son's 15th birthday today. He better realize that, well, college tuition, I might need to go back to the well. Here's Alex Pietrangelo right side. Nicholas Waugh moving in, and Marchessault shook up by Chris Russell. Crowd screaming for a penalty not forthcoming. McDavid blasted, did not get it out. Pietrangelo slide step to his right. One-timer Marchessault and a save, Mikko Koskinen. Excellent work by our crew, picking up the goal by Smith. And Vegas within 3-2 on Hockey Night in Canada.
Shaken up on that last play, and it was a hit by Jonathan Marchessault as he plays this puck up the wall in the defensive zone. Watch this, a little chip there, and Marchessault catches him without him looking. Boom. He doesn't go down, but it rattles him, and he kind of bent over afterwards. That was a pretty hard pop by Marchessault, who also had that slash on Draisaitl. Has played a gritty game tonight for the Vegas Golden Knights. Has missed the last 5, and McDavid would skate that off, stay on the bench. That's a good sign for Edmonton. Number 97 looks like he's okay and going to stick around in this game.
1,000,002 in the metro area. Deep sigh of relief. Here's a shot and a save on Haig by Mikko Koskinen. That one appeared to catch him a bit awkwardly as he slowly rises.
Yeah, this is similar to the first period for me, Jack, in the sense the Vegas Golden Knights had that life back in their legs, and they're finding those loose pucks, finding lanes to get a puck there, and good boxing out there in that sequence to allow Koskinen to make that save. Hold on to it.
He's got 32 tonight. He made 36 in the win on October the 21st. So this game, at least on the shot clock, somewhat reminiscent as it's shoveled in. But on that particular evening, a lot came from the outside. Tonight, Vegas has had several point-blank looks. Rifled by Ceci, and that ended up wide, skipping onto the tape of Janmark and a clear back through center. Draisaitl rink wide for Nugent Hopkins and tossed in. Concerning the hit on McDavid, it's sometimes the ones you don't see, Louis, that can sting you.
You don't brace yourself. A little whiplash there, maybe knocks the wind out of your ear. Just kind of buckles you a bit. I'm not exactly sure, but there's no question it stung him, and he felt it all the way to the bench.
Brooks down low. Draisaitl trying to rake that out of there. Bouchard did, then lost the handle to Carrier. He centers. Pietrangelo wired it, and a save made up around the mask by Mikko Koskinen. Here's Draisaitl lumbering to the Vegas line. A 2-bouncer on net. Steered to the corner by Leonard. Still more than 12 minutes to play in what has been a fabulous game. Edmonton 3, Vegas 2. And now a whistle away from the action. That might have to do with Koskinen's gear.
I think it was that shot, too, from Pietrangelo. Maybe the helmet came a little bit loose. That was another real good quality chance. And Pietrangelo, who can really shoot it as they're signaling for some repairs on a helmet or a second helmet to come into place. There it is right there, and certainly catches. You can see the strap just buckle off. Koskinen put his arm up to try and signal after this one, but the play went back the other way as Draisaitl was the one carrying, and he wisely kept that helmet on until it couldn't be on anymore. Looks like he's okay, and they put it back together, and no worse for wear.
Center ice draw. 36 saves by Koskinen in that earlier win over Vegas, his season high. Again, coming in with a gaudy record of 10-2. Bouchard up the middle, spilled in by McLeod. Dashing in, run hard into the boards. Good, clean check that time. And McLeod pops right back up, no worse for the wear. Stevenson was the man who caught him. And now he plows his way into Lagesson. Fierce battle behind the net, Lagesson. Gritty. Puljujarvi poked it free for Bouchard. Hard work up the middle, held in. Quick shot slid wide. Theodore with a look, and then taking a big hit to make the play was Lagesson. Tossed to the line by Pugliarvi and held in by a determined Mark Stone. Good shift for Vegas here. Bouchard under duress, though, makes the play to Pugliarvi. And then I believe he caught the linesman with a pass up the wall, and that ends up being icing. Did it not catch the linesman's skate coming up the wall?
It certainly changed angles. That was an attempted pass down the wall. It was a nice little play by Bouchard. Under pressure, as you mentioned, to kind of make that play on the backhand side, a little 7-foot pass. Here's that hit by Stevenson on McLeod right here, just rides him out and Kyle drives him into the boards there, finishing him off. Heavy hockey. 7-foot pass. Here's that hit by Stevenson on McLeod right here, just rides him out and Kyle drives him into the boards there, finishing him off. Heavy hockey.
Well, this has been a tremendous game between the two teams that were generally considered to be the top two contenders in the Pacific Division. Calgary has kind of joined the fray, but otherwise, especially when you consider the Vegas injuries, it's kind of played out that way. Right around the top of the division. Edmonton for the best point percentage, not only in the division, but in the entire conference. Here's a blast by White Cloud, redirected to the corner. McNabb took a hit, slithered around the boards for Riley Smith. Here's Bouchard, pitch forward successfully up to Pugliarvi. He'll shovel it in deep. In on the forecheck is Zach Cassidy. Popped off his stick to Riley Smith, and Vegas on a regroup with 11 minutes to go in regulation. Smith up through center, left it for Nick Wong. Sends it to the corner. Russell. McNabb held it in, and then Hyman won a battle with Riley Smith. Streaks down the right-hand side, shakes him off, curls behind. Waiting, moving it to Russell. Over to Tyson Barry. He'll send it back down low. Poked around for a moment. Trying to fish it out of there, Connor McDavid. Ian Draisaitl, nominal score sheet tonight, but the Oilers lead it 3-2. And it's eventually worked out by Vegas to center. Rifled in by Smith, caught cleanly by Koskinen. Line change Vegas. Edmonton will shuffle the deck. Personnel wise as well.
And a physical exchange there between McDavid and Marchessault as they have words all the way back to the bench. It was Marchessault that caught him with that hit we showed earlier, and McDavid roughed him up a little bit on the backtrack, and Marchessault with no helmet had to go to the bench.
Contact between Sevier and Leonard, who went down. Brought up ice by Carrier. Took free of Broberg. Guiding the puck behind, and eventually pestered enough by Seaver where it rolled all the way down. Carrier just took it the full 360. Around the boards, rattled on Ryan's stick. Kolasar came in to snatch it away for Vegas. Up the middle, turned over, and then Ryan couldn't get a one-timer on net. Instead brought the other way by Alex Pietrangelo. Weaving, dishing into a crowd. Zadonov couldn't get there. Held up by Ceci, and the puck clubbed over to Benson. He'll turn and launch back to center. Red Howden starting the rush. Open man, shot, save on Hutton. Juggled, held by Koskinen, and then dropped and peeled back into his chest as his full 6'7" frame on display. Edmonton 3, Vegas 2. 9:08 to go in the third. Two Pacific contenders toe-to-toe tonight in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Back to Vegas, where it's been a record-setting night. Great conversation by the studio panel in that second intermission regarding the importance of Chris Russell. There's the puck, 1,999 block shots. I got to spin fast here. Versus Vegas, and the date November 27th. And this was the record-setting block on the part of the Edmonton Oilers defenseman. The stat started to be kept to date back in 2006, and here's a look at some of his equipment. The only thing he says he has extra is a little bit of extra padding around his ribs. Otherwise, it's the normal shoulder pads that any player would wear, and he has been taking some ribbing from his teammates, so I think Louis and Jack were more excited about the record than Chris himself.
Well, and Gene would tell you now that he's reached 2,001 blocks, many of those in space, it's been an odyssey for Chris Russell. 8:56 to go in the third. 3-2 Edmonton. Hey, developing situation here, Louis, with Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl. As you get a look at Chris Russell, not on the score sheet. This is a rarity. Edmonton has won just 5 of the 60 games where one of those two gentlemen don't get a point, and they're not on the score sheet tonight. 9 minutes to go. Oilers lead it 3-2. Ceci. Hope check from Yamamoto, retrieved. Nugent Hopkins turned it over as he tried to get it to Draisaitl, and now Yanmark plowing through traffic. Howden, open man, Pietrangelo down the slot, broken up at the last moment by Philip Broberg, playing just his 4th NHL game. Centering pass, and that was healed wide by Howden. What a look, and he fails to finish. Hayes, sent in by Yanmark, taken by Bouchard. Vegas outplaying Edmonton here in the third period and getting closer. Shots thus far 11-2. McLeod hoisting off glass out to Puljujarvi. Recovered and backhanded in. Off the boards by Hutton to Stevenson. And then slugged in by Pacioretty. Bouchard left it for Lagesson. Bouchard with time. A jittery turnover. Hutton with the steal. One-timer coming, and that was blocked. Lagesson in the shot lane. Vogel with pressure. Pacioretty, line pass to the middle. Sent down the ice by Puljujarvi. A touch too hard. That'll be ice.
The pressure starting to pay off for the Vegas Golden Knights. They're really withering down the defense of Edmonton. If you hear footsteps coming, this is that last chance, and we talked about this earlier. It's that second wave of attackers. Pietrangelo up on the play as that puck turns over. It looked like they had possession, but 3 players back. Don't take the late man coming, and there's the second opportunity. Again, on the pressure is. You saw in that last sequence, Evan Bouchard had time, but again, you turn around, you're trying to make a play to get out of your zone. Next thing you know, it's turned over, and it's a chance again. Up on the play as that puck turns over. It looked like they had possession, but 3 players back. Don't take the late man coming, and there's the second opportunity. Again, on the pressure is. You saw in that last sequence, Evan Bouchard had time, but again, you turn around, you're trying to make a play to get out of your zone. Next thing you know, it's turned over, and it's a chance again.
Puljujarvi shoots it in, counting on McDavid's speed, but the inside track, Pietrangelo, that was off target. And instead the threat dies, and Vegas will bring it right down into Edmonton's zone. Riley Smith behind the net, recovered by McDavid, and a high flip scooted back inside the Vegas line by Vogel. Pietrangelo, outlet Theodore, completed to McJesus. Tried to go back to the point tip by Cassian, shot Theodore, rebound, and that was deflected high in the air up into the netting behind Koskinen and out of play.
Nice stick by David in the last second. That would have been a great chance from about 10 feet out on that puck that dropped down, and he just kind of flashes the stick one-handedly, just kind of chops at it right there. That would have been a terrific chance again, and pressure in front of the net. You could see Waugh was all over Koskinen, and Riley Smith was right there just licking his chops, thinking he was going to have a great A. And in a second, it was taken away. Just a good defensive play by McDavid on that one.
Vegas came out this way in the third period. Edmonton summoned a pushback. The Oilers would dearly love one right now, but off the face-off, Dadonov able to gain control for the Golden Knights. Will carry it against Derek Ryan, out to the point, open man, shot, tipped, and the ricochet winds up in the corner. Broken stick for Zach Hyman. Momentarily 5-on-4.5. McDavid finds open ice for Barry, and then Hyman, gifted a new stick, was able to spill it back into the Vegas zone. Excellent teamwork that time for the Oilers, cleared by McMahon. Ceci, Cassian, backhands it off to Broberg. Then up the middle, Hyman taken against the boards, and it's shoveled back in by Vegas. Quickly D-to-D as the Oilers trying to catch Vegas in a change. Cassian twists it back to McDavid. Great shot, and that was deflected out of play.
David winded up on that one. A nice little drop pass by Cassian. He's the one that set the play in motion on the backtrack, and he tries to take that middle of the ice and get that shot through the defender. And right there, Nick Hague, with that long reach, just kind of gets that paddle down at the last second. That's a laser by McDavid. He's so good at using the screen, but that reach of Hague right there, he puts the stick in the right spot. And the The Vegas Golden Knights, again, being stingy here in this third period, have not spent a lot of time in their own zone.
Well, to illustrate your point, Louis, the Oilers don't have a shot in the last 6.5 minutes. Draisaitl wins the faceoff. Nugent-Hopkins trying to change that. Backhands one in front. Here's a shot, sharp angle. Draisaitl, a save made by Leonard. Who knows, of course, that Draisaitl will shoot from anywhere. CC to the middle, Nugent-Hopkins. Open Broberg. Wrist shot, and Yamamoto unable to get a redirect on net. Pietrangelo rifles it down the ice. I think he thought Pacioretty was going to fly the zone, but it's an icing call.
And some extended time in the zone, and it results in an icing by Pietrangelo. A couple good opportunities as Connor McDavid, the fourth fastest all-time, the 400 career assists, and you look at the number of games that it took to get that 290 for Wayne Gretzky, but 426, and he's amongst some greats, all in the Hall of Fame. Peter Stastny, the great Mario Lemieux, and of course the great one who leads them all.
Draisaitl clean face-off win. Block shot, Mark Stone on Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, and booted out by Hay. Stone will turn and caught the back of Pacioretty's skate. Nugent-Hopkins trying to take advantage of the break, will dump it in. Yamamoto against Pietrangelo. Worked over to Chandler Stevenson. Soft play up the middle. Nugent-Hopkins swatting at it, eventually recovered at center. And the Oilers will back off with 5 1/4 to go in regulation. Oilers just 3 shots in the period, but their 3-2 lead for now remains intact. Oilers at one point led 3-0. Vegas still needs an equalizer. Hogan working hard to keep Vegas hemmed in. Dadonov, second effort, McLeod, and they ended up spinning that into the Vegas bench, I do believe. 4:49 to go in the third. We've got a beauty in Vegas on Hockey Night in Canada. First ever GMC AT4 lineup.
Well, there's no question for Edmonton is Mikko Koskinen in this game. He's been absolutely outstanding. Only 2 goals by him on 35 saves for him. So far in this game, a couple great ones in tight, especially early on. Jack, he was the one that really weathered the storm that was the Vegas Golden Knights coming out and just absolutely throwing everything at him. A lot of traction around him in the blue paint. He made some saves that were just dynamic. And it's a 1-goal lead still to Edmonton in the last under 5 minutes of this third period.
Gut check time really for both clubs. Edmonton trying to finish off a quality road victory. Vegas, though diminished in numbers at some point, trying to come all the way back. Lagesson, a shot through traffic, a save. Leonard caught a piece of Fogle on his way by, looking for the rebound, and now Marchessault will bring it up to 7. On the tape with Nick Wall. Did not thread it through. Lagesson picked, cleared off glass, tossed back in by Hutton. McLeod a drive by. Vegas is offside, and Marchessault unhappy with that call.
Good job by McLeod to kind of just buzz right through there. I like the play by Lagesson beforehand too, and typically what Edmonton has been trying to do is just fire it off the glass, but hold on to that puck, make sure you have a play, get it out. And it still almost doesn't get out, and that's how difficult it's been to get it by the defenders before check of the Vegas Golden Knights for Ryan McLeod. He's been buzzing around again tonight, and did just enough to get that offside call.
This is a great matchup, Louis. When you see these two play, you understand why they've split 12 meetings even. 6 wins each. And Vegas' history, which includes 3 trips to the conference final in the last 4 years. Oilers trying to go on a sustained playoff run. Reached Game 7 of the second round in 2017, but that's it. The McDavid Draisaitl era. Trying to find that next level. McNabb winding it around. Dadonov thought about the short side feed. Nowhere to move. Russell draped all over him. Forces the giveaway to McDavid, and now bursting down the middle is the Edmonton captain. Cassian will keep it hugging the wall. Thrown safely out by McNabb, and then shoveled by Colasar all the way toward the Oilers line, where it's smacked down by Broberg. 3.5 to go. High floater, steered in by Nugent-Hopkins. White Cloud after it. Cade. Stone trying to shake off Nugent-Hopkins. Does so with a feed up the right-hand side. Banged in by the Golden Knights. Pacioretty outreach for it by Cody Ceci. Trying to burrow his way in there. Chandler Stevenson with Draisaitl. able to strip. Nugent Hopkins took the hit from White Cloud to make the play, and it's down the ice. Cave backhands to Stone through the middle, chopped away from Stevenson by Fogel. Smacked back in by Pacioretty. Koskinen doesn't like the read. He'll fall on it. 2:57 on the clock.
You see enough of that bouncing pucks around, and a good job by Koskinen to recognize that as Broberg was getting pressure pretty aggressive. He says, enough, we'll get a face-off, settle things down. That's just a good decision by Koskinen not to let that go. I thought he might have been able to come out and play that puck around the net and that little chip in that goes around behind the net, but he stood his ground, stayed in the net, let his defenseman handle the workload, and gets a little timeout here to settle things down and get some fresh legs on the ice.
McDavid. Face-off against Nick Waugh. Digging. Chiseling. And White Cloud unable to keep it in. Hyman thought he had a break. White Cloud tied him up. Edmonton has steadied itself here in the last 4 or 5 minutes. Vegas hasn't been able to get a look. Waugh will snap it around the boards. Koskinen will leave it for Evan Bouchard. Golfs it out of the zone, put too much on it, icing.
Yeah, that was a nice little play by Koskinen to stop that rim and just put it over to Bouchard. I think he wanted to flip that obviously a little bit higher, just kind of throw it into an area. It goes all the way down and it'll come back to the right of Mikko Koskinen.
Kind of like one of my sculled wedges, Louis.
Yeah.
When I'm trying to help the team in a scramble, I get that disgusted look from you.
Not quite Phil Nicholson-like.
No. Net empty. Vegas is going for it right now, 6-on-5. Leonard has been pulled. Stevenson against McDavid. Pacioretty to Pietrangelo. Shea Theodore waiting, peering in against Hyman out there with Zach Kassian. Pressure on Pietrangelo. Smacked out of midair by Bouchard. Kassian digging, couldn't clear. Stone rifles it across. Theodore shot, tipped, rattled around. Hyman couldn't get it. Settled and sent over to Pietrangelo by Theodore. Dadonov ushers it along the boards. Pacioretty over to Stevenson, using a screen from Stone. Dadonov behind the net. Pietrangelo loading up. Minute 50 to go. Peering inside Stone. Tried to jam it in there, deflected. Terrific hockey game tonight. Coming to a climax. Russell tosses high off glass. Not out of the zone. Desperate. And a hand pass will be whistled against Vegas with a minute 39 to go in the third period. It's down the stretch on Hockey Night in Canada.
And some heavy lifting down low by Chris Russell on that last little sequence. He's the one that was able to make that little spin move, chip it off the glass, through that hand pass call to get a break and fresh lengths after some pressure in the offensive zone. And for Edmonton, patience not breaking on that sequence. Every puck that was up for grabs, they just stayed in the right position, tried to keep it to the outside, and kill the clock.
Robin Leonard back in for the neutral zone draw. Vegas without a shot on goal in the last 7.5 minutes. So Edmonton has battened down the proverbial hatches. Lead pass Riley Smith. Leonard at the bench one more time. Haig will break open. Pursued by Nugent Hopkins. Broberg gets into Haig's drill. Centering pass tipped away by Yamamoto. Recovered out to Marchessault. Loading up. No shot land. Pietrangelo, same thing. Marchessault cross ice. Picked off by Draisaitl. Nudged ahead Nugent Hopkins. Be able to tip it inside the line, but that's all. We've got 1 minute to play in Las Vegas. Sent in deep by Pietrangelo. Koskinen and I'm able to get a grasp on it. Broberg failed to clear. Draisaitl reaching for the puck. CC in the mix. 4-player pile up in the corner. Out the puck comes to Nugent Hopkins. Lays it off the window. Back to center. Pietrangelo. Yamamoto bearing down on him. Slugged by Haig ahead for Marchessault. Ends up on Draisaitl's stick. 35 seconds to play. It's bounced out to center. And now Shea Theodore. One last rush coming for the Golden Knights. Pietrangelo fires. Save in Koskinen. Rebound Stone picks it up. Around the boards. Pietrangelo with Russell all over him. Now Stone with open ice. Threw it across. Bouncing puck. Corralled by Theodore. Cross ice tipped away by Hyman. Vegas has to exit the zone. Time winding down. Stevenson with 10 seconds to play. Russell busts him up. Draisaitl off the boards. Race for the puck. Hyman's got it. Edmonton's going to hang on to win this hockey game. The final score 3-2. behind Mikko Koskinen. It's time to go to Pittsburgh, Calgary with Hartline and Greg. Final from Vegas.
NHL, Connor McDavid.